No, not you, my lady. I'm illegally parked, I know. Part of my French and my Mercedes. But I have no excuse for this flea market shirt I'm wearing. My motley crew is beastie, and we enjoy the staring. I'm unemployed and daring. How dare I be so cool when it's so hot in Alabama? Sometimes we get snow too. And I'm as rare as a white Christmas in Miami, really. The temperature's dropping on South Beach, the ocean's getting chilly. But I'm driving, my people, the party, yeah. Some drinking, get rowdy, party. And I went out with a buddy or two, and it was all on. And we got to the bar by the 1:45, and it was all on. And we got gone, 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 Yes, I jumped off the boat, and I'm sinking in my chair, cause my beer bottle does not float. Help me now. Please enjoy the show. I done came up so fast that I'm afraid of heights. I gotta go. Help me down. Or I'll just learn to balance somewhere between commercial dreams and music that is valid. My babies need to eat, so I create a simple sound. The fiasco threw me for a loop. Hey, I dumbed it down, slick. Ricky Bobby driving. I'm driving. My people, the party, yeah. Some drinking, get rowdy, party. And I went out with a buddy or two, and it was all on. And we got to the bar by the 1:45, and it was all on. And we got gone, 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 Yeah, my people are riding in trucks and wheels oversized. In such a world I reside, and your luck runs low with your pride. And enough to keep you up out of the club and troubles around. I got them car keys in hand, I know what the fuck's going down. Some of these people come sick, some pop the trunk for the days. They wanna do bodily harm, they wanna live for the day. We just came to get stupid, so give me that bottle of Crown. I'll take my girl to my Caprice and get the fuck out of town. Come on, girl. And I'm driving, my people, the party, yeah. Some drinking, get rowdy, party. And I went out with a buddy or two, and it was all on. And we got to the bar by the 1:45, and it was all on. And we got gone, 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 and we got gone.
Good afternoon, everybody. Pigskin Pete here. Happy Friday to everybody. Sorry for anybody who's just checking in. I don't even know if I'm online now. I'm having internet issues. So, I don't know. You know what? If this continues, I'm just going to cut the stream off. I don't know what else to do. Ever since the hurricane, I've been having internet issues. But it is what it is. Anyway, if you guys want to call in, this is the call-in show, the Friday Night Beer Drinkers call-in show. And the number to call in is 864-207-7112. I get really frustrated whenever my stuff doesn't work right. Anyway, a couple of announcements. First of all, this show and every show is sponsored by BetNow.eu. For this week and every week during the college football season, there's a link in the description of this video and every video. If you want to click that, go deposit some money to play with for a good cause. Hashtag Sam Strong. Use the promo code Peete, P-E-E-T-E in all caps. And they will give you a 100% bonus on your deposit to play with. Now, And as far as tomorrow, a lot of people have been messaging me and asking me which game will I be streaming tomorrow. I don't think I'll be streaming tomorrow. Unfortunately, I have something else to do. But my son's birthday is tomorrow. Clemson plays at 3:30. I'll be watching that game, but I won't be streaming it. But my oldest son, his birthday is tomorrow, so we have some other plans outside of that 3:30 to 6:30, 7 o'clock slot or whatever. So anyways, I apologize to anybody who's looking forward to the stream for a primetime college football game, which I do every week. But I will get back on the horse for that next week. Let me see who's in the chat here real quick, and then I want to talk about some of the games this week. Good afternoon, George. Alan V is in the house. Edward Craven, how you doing, sir? Clemson Jesus is back in the house. Clemson Carson. Good to see you, sir. Tiger Raven's in the house. How you doing, man? I'm sure if you're here, you're amazing and fantastic. Crazy Bronco. What's up, Pigskin Pete? What's up, Crazy Bronco? I know you're happy about your big win over Florida State last week. Christian Ballard's in the house. Good to see you, sir. Lou Patton, what's up? Captain Trips is in the house. Good to see you guys all here. Again, the call-in number is 864-207-7112. This show and every Friday night beer drinkers show is driven by the callers, and so I rely on people to call in to keep it interesting. And I'll go ahead and check the phone lines now. If there's nobody on there, I will wait for a call, but I want to talk about some of these betting lines. So if you guys saw my betnow.eu video Wednesday, I do those every Wednesday. There's a lot of lines out there this week that aren't that interesting, to be honest with you. But Ohio State, I think, is a good pick, minus 16.5 against Cincinnati. I don't know if this is a good pick, but I took it anyway. BYU against Tennessee. And listen, Tennessee should be a better team than BYU. Everybody knows that. But from what I saw last week, I'm not betting on Tennessee to cover anything as a favorite until they can prove any different to me. And I don't know. Hopefully, you know what? I almost hope I lose that bet just for Tennessee's sake. But really, they're favored by 3.5. BYU is a better football team than Georgia State is, just so you guys know that. But you're going to need to see better effort from Tennessee than you saw last week in order for them to have a chance. This game, I think, is pretty easy. Miami minus 6, North Carolina. I expect Miami to win this game pretty easily. I know that North Carolina beat South Carolina, and everyone thinks that all of a sudden Mac Brown's there and suddenly North Carolina is going to be a great team. But they're still not a great team. So basically, a team that's not very good is a team that beat South Carolina, and that tells you all you need to know about Boom and that South Carolina team. But anyway, I think that Miami's defense is going to smother North Carolina, and their offense probably play a little bit better than they did last week as well. So I think that's a pretty easy bet there. Miami minus 6. USC and Stanford. Now, both of their quarterbacks are out, but I took Stanford because I think Stanford's a better football team, a better coached football team. I won't say they're a better talented team. I think they're a better coached team than Southern Cal is right now. And Clay Helton's days are numbered. And so them as a favorite, I think it's an easy pick here. And it looks like I have a call on the line. Good afternoon. You're on with Pete.
Hey, Pete, what's up? Lou Patton. How you doing, buddy?
What's up, Lou? It's almost game time, sir. Are you ready?
I am so ready, man. I haven't been able to sleep all week waiting for this game, man.
I hear you. I haven't been able to sleep for different reasons, but yeah.
Yeah. Hey, I'm glad you avoided the hurricane. I'm glad everything is good for you. But hey, Pete, I know that the Texas A&M Clemson's a big game. I know it's my biggest game of the week, but I also wanted to talk about Army and Michigan. I can't believe Army is a 22-point dog, dude.
Yeah, I can't believe that either. I mean, selfishly, I would like to see Michigan lose the game because, well, actually, I don't really care. But I would like to see it just because Michigan fans and the Michigan program in general, they get hyped up every year. They get shoved down our throat as being a top 10 program, and every year they disappoint. Now, they win 10 games, fine, whatever. They lose. They don't win their division. They lose to Ohio State every year. And then 3 out of the last 4 seasons, they've lost their bowl games to teams that probably they should have beaten. So, and nothing would make me happier than to see Army cover. I think Army might cover this game. What do you think?
I think, a lot of people don't follow Army. I happen to be an Army veteran, so I definitely follow Army. But they had a game last year against Oklahoma, and they almost beat them. But they certainly didn't get run out of the stadium. And I think they're just going to be a good game. And not only do I think they're going to cover the point spread, they might very well win that game.
Well, that would be great. But even if they don't win the game, I do think 22.5 points or 22 or whatever it is now is an awful lot of points. Because one thing about Army is they play, just like most of these service academies, they run a triple option. They're going to hold the ball for an awful long time. So they're going to play keep away from Michigan. And they're going to get theirs too. They're going to get a couple of, plays here or there to keep it interesting. And there's one thing about those service academies. So my dad is a graduate of the Naval Academy. Of course, that was back in the mid-'60s. My dad graduated from the Naval Academy in 1965. But those service academy kids are tougher than any football player in the Power Five. They might not be as talented. They might not be as big. They might not be as fast. But they are tougher than all of them. And they will not give up all the way till the very end. So, I think that 22 points is a lot to give Michigan.
So anyway, as you know, I'm a pretty new subscriber. I like your show, man, and I like the fact that I'm going to try that now thing you got going on. I might try that, so because it looks like fun. So I just wanted to touch base with you and say hello, and I'm glad you guys survived the storm. And gig 'em Aggies.
All right, man. I'll talk to you soon. Appreciate the call.
All right, buddy. See you.
All right. All right, there you guys. That's Lou Patton, a Texas A&M fan. So good luck to his Aggies this week, although I hope the Aggies lose, of course. Good afternoon. You're on with Pete. Hello?
Yeah.
What's up?
I'm here.
It's George.
I thought no one was going to call.
Oh, what are you trying to say? No one wants to call Pete? Is that what you're trying to say, George?
I don't know. I didn't know what was happening. I'm like, somebody call. And then I went, I'd do it.
Well, I can always count on you, George.
All right. Yeah, you can.
So who does Florida play this week, George?
I never heard of them before. I don't know. Some school we never played before, nobody's ever heard of. I'm sorry. And then we have Towson coming up, Towson coming up in a few weeks, too. 2 teams I've never heard of.
Right.
That's horrible, isn't it? I keep forgetting their name. Fuck.
Yeah, that's no fun whenever your team plays a nobody. And I hate that. I hate that about college football. I wish they would get rid of the cupcake games. I've been over this a million times. There's ways to fix this. They talk about how these other, these FCS teams and these, any non-Power 5 team, for that matter, they need that money from that game to fund their entire athletic program. I say, okay, fine.
Right.
Then every Power 5 team put $1 million in the pot at the beginning of the year and divvy that up amongst the smaller schools that need it. And then that takes care of the problem. Just because they need the money doesn't mean we can't give it to them, right? That's number one. And number two, just because we give them the money doesn't mean we actually have to play the game. This is something this is the worst part about college football is, a weekend like this weekend, we've got 3 or 4 really good games, right? We got Texas, we got LSU, we got Clemson and Texas A&M. And there's maybe a couple of other games that are maybe interesting, but the rest of them, we're talking about 30 games that are just horrible games. And so that's the worst part about college football is the weeks where we have to watch a bunch of nobodies play big name schools. But anyway, that's a whole nother video. You got me off on a tangent here, George. You're good at doing that.
And Georgia State begs to differ. Georgia State's like, don't take our game away. We like that shit.
Yeah. Well, that's true too. And that's the other reason that these teams
and Wyoming and keep naming them. They all won.
That's a good point. That's another reason why we shouldn't play these cupcake games, because the big boy school has nothing to gain from this. I mean, if you beat them, you only beat them by 3 touchdowns. You suck, right? Well, if you lose to them, then that's as bad as it gets. If Clemson were to go out there or Alabama or Georgia or any of these other teams that people have already, penciled in as the playoff contender, if they go out and lose to a nobody, their season's over. It's done. Forget about it.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why Florida took Miami off their schedule. Why would we play this team that doesn't play anybody all year and take a risk of losing to them because they get up for a rivalry? It's like, go play a real schedule so at least we get credit if we beat you.
Yeah, I get annoyed. We looked up the average cost of a ticket to the LSU versus Texas game this weekend. Do you know how much that average ticket is for that game?
I'm going to guess $275, $300.
Yeah, no, it's higher.
Oh my God!
Yeah, it's like
who the fuck can afford that?
It's like $430 or something, somewhere between $430 and $450 average per ticket.
Wow.
Now, yeah, and
wow.
So this is what
for one sorry game.
Yeah, and so what you hear in the media is, well, why is the attendance down in college football but the TV ratings are up? Well, it doesn't take a genius to figure that out. It's because nobody can afford to go to college games anymore. It costs twice as much to go to a college football game as it does to an NFL game. Now, you figure that out when they're paying people like Antonio Brown $50 million to not show up for not wearing a helmet, and these college players aren't getting paid, yet it costs twice as much to go to a college game as it does an NFL game. Now, you figure that out.
That's a bad business model.
Yeah, it is a bad business model. And, I'm planning on going to the Notre Dame and Clemson game next year. That trip, conservatively, let's do the math right now. So I got me and Mrs. Peete. That's 2 people. We got plane tickets, unless we drive, but I'm not driving whatever it is, 13 hours. We're going to fly, probably into Chicago. The plane tickets themselves will be a few $100s a piece. So let's say they're $300 a piece at minimum. That's $600 before we even get to where we're going.
Right.
Then you got hotels, right?
I agree.
They're probably going to jack the hotels up to probably about $300 or $400 a night. Let's say we stay for 2 nights. That's another $600. So we're at $1,200, and we haven't even seen.
So you're up to $1,500, $1,200, $1,500 with food and snacks and incidentals, right?
Now, when you add the tickets into that, the tickets are probably going to be $400 a piece, conservatively. So now we're up another $800. So what's 6 is 12 plus 8. We're up to $2,000, and we haven't even seen a football player yet. You add in food, you add in transportation, Ubers, gas, whatever, rental cars, going around and seeing stuff. We're up. By the time we get there and back and watch the game and go see a couple of sites, we're probably well over $3,000 for 2 days to watch a college football game. That's now, and that's
right. And you get to. Right. And you get to sit in inclement weather and miss half the plays because you can't see them and not get the full replay and pay $20 for a beer and $10 for a hot dog, etc. It sucks.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I don't know why I'm getting off on a tangent about that. The only reason is because we just happened to see that this Texas and LSU game is outrageous ticket prices. And that's the way it was a couple of years ago in 2015 when we went to the Notre Dame and Clemson game in Clemson, South Carolina. We paid almost $400 a piece for a ticket. We paid $400 for 1 night in a hotel. And we only lived 3 hours away, so it was just a 1 night deal, but it still cost us almost $2,000 for 1 night, which is just crazy. So,
right.
Yeah.
I've had decent jobs all my life, and I never would have paid the kind of money that it takes to go to football games. I'm just appalled. It's embarrassing, I think, to the universities to do that to their fan base.
Well, Catfish is calling me, so I'm going to put him on the air. Catfish, hello. You're on the air. You're on the air, sir.
What's that?
You're on the air.
This is actually Bobby. Bobby's here until Catfish comes back.
Video on Fanpride, and I figured something out. Anyway, call me back.
All right.
Don't go, Bobby.
Yeah, anyway, that's what he gets. He always calls me when I'm live, so I figured.
Bobby dropped his Catfish persona until they. He dropped the Catfish persona until they win a game or two. He said.
No, he's always going to be Catfish.
But he said that was for when they were winning, and he was being boisterous and loud. He said, "I can't even do it right now." He said, "We got to win something first,
No.
then I'll go back to being Catfish."
No, they're going 15-0. I promise you that.
14-1.
I got some new people in here. College football maniac Walt Roberts, Border Bob's in the house. Dennis Wilson. Hey, you got your pom poms ready for the North Carolina game, buddy? And Delta Charlie is also in here. Good afternoon to all of you, and of course George is on the line currently. All right, so
I don't give Miami much of a chance this week, quite frankly. I hope they win. It'll make us look better, but I just don't know. Don't look good for Miami.
You don't give Miami a chance against North Carolina?
Not much of a chance.
Why not?
Because we sacked their quarterback 10 times. That's why. And we gave them the ball 4 times, and they couldn't score. It's just unbelievable, really.
Yeah, but so here
we should have lost that game by 20 points, man.
Well, yeah, I agree with that. But what you're telling me here is that you think that North Carolina is as good a football team as Florida is.
I think Miami sucks, is what I'm saying.
Well,
I think Mark Richt destroyed Miami. I think they're still having a case of Mark Richtitis.
Well, you're making.
I think it's going to take a while for Miami to come back.
So, hold on. Let me get this straight. You think Miami's going to lose. You think Miami sucks. They're playing North Carolina, and Miami almost beat you.
They should have beat us.
So you think Florida sucks too, then?
I think Florida sucked bad enough to lose that game, and I'm embarrassed. And now we're playing some nobody team. And then our first real game is Kentucky, who normally I would make a joke about, but I can't do that right now because we might lose to them too if we don't get our shit together.
Yeah. I'm gonna be
that
honest,
was embarrassing, man.
I'm super confused right now. And I'm not hard to confuse.
Hey, listen, unless Florida was just acting like they suck on purpose, I'm worried. We need to get our stuff together. There's no reason we did whatever we did. It was ridiculous. Felipe throwing the ball to the other team for no reason and dropping the ball on the ground all the time. And first game or not, man, those are simple mistakes. You should know better in high school not to do that shit.
Why don't they put that other quarterback in there? What's that guy's name?
Yeah, I feel bad for Frank, but Emory Jones is definitely taking his place at some point in the season.
All right, Emory Jones, that's who I was thinking of. Well, why don't they just cut their losses and put that guy in? Either that, or why don't they just get Felipe Franks to fake a couple of broken feet, and that way they can put Emory Jones in there, and Felipe Franks can transfer to Missouri after Kelly Bryant's not there next year, and it'll just be like the
Hey, listen. Franks has done his job. He has served us well holding that spot for Emory Jones while Dan Mullen grooms Jones for the job. You know, it was a little early for Jones last year, but it's not too early now. So Jones will play tomorrow versus whoever we're playing. I can't remember. And then Franks will hurt his foot. Exactly.
Yeah.
Emory Jones is the next Tim Tebow. You have no idea. You should watch this guy. There's a video called Emory Jones, the next Tim Tebow. Watch his high school highlights. He's a man among boys, and now he's in college, so he's a man among men, but he's still just as big as they are. He's a big dude. He's like Cam Newton.
So why is he not starting?
Because he was just a freshman.
He's not a freshman now, though.
Yeah, but we didn't want someone like Todd Grantham to rattle his brain and confuse him. He takes time to work into this complexity of NFL defensive schemes they're using in college.
Well, okay. Well, Felipe Franks
Todd
doesn't.
Grantham saved our life against Miami. He saved our life. He was the whole game, Todd Grantham.
Felipe Franks doesn't seem to be adjusting to that tough NFL defense scheme in college the way that he should be. After how long has he been there? What
I don't know, but I ended my.
He's
been there 3 years. I ended. Yeah,
he's like
3 years.
He's like 30.
He's like 30.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's time to move on.
I mean, I don't care. I don't care. Whatever Mullen wants to do is fine. But I know Mullen. He's making like $6 million a year. He'd prefer to win. Keep that paycheck.
Yeah.
The Gators fan base is not very forgiving, and he knows it.
Yeah. So, do you think that Felipe Franks will be deported by ICE within the next couple of months if he loses another game or two?
Why do people keep saying that? Wasn't he born in Louisiana or Florida or something?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know anything about him.
Yeah, he's from Florida, from, I forget, somewhere in Florida.
Oh.
I don't know why people are saying that. I don't think he's going to be deported. I think he's going to end up as a backup quarterback in the NFL because he's so damn big and he can throw the ball 80 yards. So he'll stand on sidelines and hold a clipboard for 20 years.
Well, hey, you said it, not me.
There's nothing wrong with that. That's a good living.
I'm not hating on it. All right, George,
Hey,
you are an A++ caller as usual, and I love talking to you every single week, but I got to go because I got a couple of other calls on the line.
All right, good luck, Clemson, against a tough A&M.
All right, free Felipe. Thank you, sir. All right.
Leader, yeah.
All right. Good afternoon. You're on Pete.
Hey, what's going on, brother?
Hey, Ramon. I didn't hear from you last week, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you remember I sent you that message in the chat that I was helping my pops move.
Yes, you did. You absolutely did do that. So how you doing, man?
Yeah. What's that?
I said, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Yeah, obviously we had that alleged hurricane, so I had to help him get moved in a new house, even at a speedier pace than we planned before. But
yes,
obviously nothing came of that.
Yeah.
I think South Carolina had more physical effects from it than we did.
Yeah. I lost power for about 12 hours.
Did you? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it was. In my neighborhood wasn't too bad. We don't have a whole lot of trees because it's like a newer type of neighborhood. But yeah, we just got a lot of rain and wind, and having no power with a house full of kids. That's
yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Enough to give you cabin fever.
Yeah. So I was out there playing in the hurricane just to get out.
But yeah, man. Like I said, I had to come say my piece, man. It was a tough ride home, especially riding back with Gators. But it is what it is, man.
Yes. So, but hey, I don't know if you saw my stream from last week. I had a little bit of a recap on that. I feel like that Miami outplayed Florida, and they really gave the game to them. Now, it don't really matter. At the end of the day, when you have a win is a win. Yeah. A win is a win. Exactly. You said it perfectly. But at the end of the day, Miami was ranked. Not ranked, sorry. And Florida was ranked number 8 in the country, which is a meaningless poll altogether. But anyway, my point is, right. I think that Miami showed me that at least they have a lot of room for improvement. I don't know where Florida's going to improve, right? Because they have a veteran. Well, they got a veteran quarterback and they got some veteran players on defense. But Miami's defense looked really good.
Speaking of which,
yeah.
Not to cut you off, but
yeah,
man. I about flipped my shit when I heard your boy, what's homeboy, George that stays in Oregon.
Yeah.
When this man, I'm surprised you ain't say nothing with you being a Panthers fan. What he hit Emory Jones and Cam Newton. First of all, allegedly Emory Jones 6'2". I think he's 6'1.5". Honestly, personally, if I'm just looking at him by sight, we know Cam Newton is every bit of that 6'5" that they say he is.
Yeah.
Emory Jones, not even sure if he's 200 pounds. Cam's 245 on a bad day.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry. I about threw the phone in the garbage and washed my eyes after that. But.
Yeah, well, comparing Cam Newton to Emory Jones hasn't started a game in college yet, and so I don't know what the comparison there is. To be honest with you, I don't know anything about. I don't know anything about Emory Jones. You want to know why? Because he's not playing. he's got
right.
He's got mophead Felipe in there playing ahead of him for some ungodly reason.
And the funny thing is, just from a physical standpoint, and not what they do on the field, because obviously Cam is better. But Felipe Franks is way more comparable just from a physical standpoint to Cam Newton. I mean,
right. So how do you feel about this weekend, man? Because I'm,
measurements and stuff like that, and physical tests.
Yeah, so I took Miami to not only beat North Carolina, but beat them by more than a touchdown. That's I made a bet on them this week. So I'm not only
right.
so I'm counting on Miami to prove me right here. I think that North Carolina is. I mean, there's some good things to say about North Carolina. That freshman played really good against South Carolina. That freshman quarterback they got.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, the defense obviously played well against a pretty bad South Carolina offense, but I think it's going to be. I think it might be a low-scoring game. Because you still have the inexperience on the offensive line. You still have the inexperience at quarterback with Jaron Williams, although I think they're going to get better, but they're still inexperienced. It's only week 2. So the key here is I believe that Miami's defense is going to be the difference in this game, and that I see maybe
definitely.
I see something like maybe a 21-10 or a 21-17, somewhere in that range, a Miami victory. How do you see it?
Well, the main thing I'm glad about is even though it's not really comparable, but when you got college kids and you got that adrenaline in them, you can say something and make it sound a certain way. Okay, obviously from the optics standpoint, Florida is a much more respected SEC team than Carolina right now.
Yes, that's for
South
sure.
Carolina.
Yeah, for sure.
But when you a coach, you gotta play those mind games. If I was Diaz, I would be saying, look, guys, I mean, we just lost to an SEC team, our first game of the season. Now we're playing a team that beat an SEC team. Now, are we gonna just cower down and say that North Carolina is better, or are we gonna prove that our starting record isn't a true indictment of what we are? I mean, that's the type of way I would work it. But I see us winning by about 14 points. Though is where I stand at it right now.
Well, I hope you're right. So it's a 6-point spread, and I took Miami. But yeah, I think listen.
When did you bet on it?
I bet on it on Wednesday.
Yeah, I think it dropped down yesterday, if I'm not mistaken, at 3.5.
3.5.
Yeah.
So everyone's putting their money on North Carolina then. That's crazy.
Yeah, to cover, yeah.
Oh, I don't get that. I mean, I don't get that. Miami had a closer game against a better SEC team. And North Carolina, yeah, they won, but they beat a bad team. So I don't know. We'll see. But I'm counting on you. I'm telling you that right now. I'm counting on Miami. Because
I'm counting on us too. Because I mean,
yeah.
Because obviously I'm not going to lose confidence if we start 0-2 with a first-year head coach. But I mean, just the optics and stuff, and having people in my ear. Sometimes I just can't take bitchy fans. Man.
Yeah, Well, that's the thing, man. Miami needs this game more than North Carolina does, right? Because North Carolina's
definitely.
They're in much more of a rebuild. I mean, they only won 2 games last year. They were one of the worst teams.
Yeah, they halfway to that already.
Yeah, exactly. They were one of the worst teams in the FBS. Miami has actual, hopes of winning their division this year. North Carolina doesn't, right? So if Miami goes 0-2, that's a bad start. Bad start. So.
Oh yeah. And I mean, I don't know how it was for you, and I don't know what your mindset was. Dabo's first 3 or 4 years. I mean, because I remember that. Was that his 3rd year? He had like that season where they only won 5 games or 6 games.
No.
After it looked like they were on the upswing.
No. His first year was 2008. By 2011, they were playing in Orange Bowls. Now they did get blown out in 2011, like 70 to 35. Yeah, but at least they were still in the Orange Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Right.
and that's the thing. Even the time that he was losing to South Carolina 5 years in a row, and he was getting blown out by West Virginia, he was still winning 10 games a year, and he was still going to New Year's Six bowl
Right.
games and that sort of thing. So, I mean, that's a whole different story than than what you're talking about. But I might be different. There was a whole group of Clemson fans I know that was ready to get rid of him. But coming from what was happening before he got there, it was clearly an improvement. We could tell.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just winning games. It wasn't just the end of the season record. He was changing the culture there. It's very clear. He was holding these players accountable. The GPAs went up. The graduation rate went up. The attendance went up at the games. They were winning more games. I mean, you could just tell it was the whole package that things were getting better there. Now, if you would have asked me 10 years ago, 10 years from now, you're going to be winning national championships and be the best team in the country. Would I believe that? I mean, I don't think I would believe that. No, I'm not going to say I did.
Right.
But I did like Dabo. I did from the beginning. Yeah.
What was he? Receivers coach, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah, he was a receivers coach both at Alabama and then at Clemson. He was never a coordinator, never an offensive coordinator.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, and so the athletic director there, Terry Don Phillips, saw something in him that nobody else saw. And he was the main recruiter, and that's really what got him the job.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so he was recruiting at a high level. He was getting players like Spiller in there and countless other guys that probably had no business coming to a place like Clemson ahead of Miami or Florida State or Florida or somewhere like that. And so that's the reason he got the job, because of the recruiting and the
you remember why C.J. Spiller ended up at Clemson, right?
Well, there's a story out there that when Dabo Swinney was recruiting Spiller, he went and visited down in Florida, and he did a written contract on the back of his business card. He still got it in his office today. Dabo Swinney does, and he said, "Look, I don't want you to make a decision or tell me no until you at least promise me that you're going to come to Clemson and visit." Right? And so Spiller said, "All right, yeah, whatever. I'll sign the stupid contract." And so when he got him up to Clemson, Dabo, one thing about Dabo that he doesn't get enough credit for is he is a great salesman. He sells the program to people.
He's a closer.
Yeah, he's a closer. And so he got Spiller on campus, and that's all he really needed to do to get him to sign. And the same went for Sammy Watkins. The same went for a lot of these big-name guys that probably had no business going to Clemson at the time that they went there. And but that's
right.
And same with Taj Boyd. Taj Boyd was a Virginia Beach kid, and he was recruited heavily by Virginia Tech. At the time, Virginia Tech was a legit team, not like they are now. And he chose Clemson over Virginia Tech and a lot of other big schools. And that's all Dabo Swinney. That's him right there.
Yeah. But so how you feel about Texas A&M? I just got home. I didn't hear anything other than the Georgia conversation. How you feel about Texas A&M?
I think that Texas A&M is a legit team. I wouldn't bet on it. First of all, I would never bet on Clemson as a Clemson fan. That's the number one rule of betting. But I will tell you this.
Yeah.
I see a lot of, anytime you hear this conversation come up, it goes, well, last year it was a close game. Well, last year this happened. Well, last year that happened. Look, last year don't mean shit right now. Last year the game was in Texas A&M. That's number one. Number two, last year we were rotating quarterbacks between Kelly Bryant and a true freshman, Trevor Lawrence. It was a sort of a quarterback competition on the field. We've got our guy now. There's no getting around that. Trevor Lawrence is a 10 times better quarterback than he was at this time last year, and he's playing at home. I just don't know how you defend Clemson's offense. I just don't know how. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're Texas A&M, Alabama, Ohio State, Georgia, whoever, Miami, the best defenses in the country. How do you stop?
Yeah.
Because you can't, if you commit to stop the run, you've got 4 NFL wide receivers. They're going to kill you every time. So I don't know how you stop it.
Oh yeah, I mean, and you know how they call it when Trevor Lawrence throws up Ross and Higgins. They call it 80-20 balls because he does the right thing. I mean, he lofts it up there in a place where, I mean, if they're not getting it, nobody else is coming down with it.
Yeah.
So
listen, anything can happen. I think Texas A&M is going to come out there and put up a good fight. At the end of the day, I just don't think that they're at the point right now where they can compete with Clemson. If anybody beats Clemson on this Saturday, it's going to be Clemson. That's the way I feel about it. We'll see.
Well, first, I mean, I would love for Clemson to follow Texas A&M, and then Texas A&M go back and beat up on the SEC West, because that's going to damage their reputation if Clemson beat the shit out of Texas A&M, and then Alabama and LSU if they can't beat them. Because now it's like you got to match up. You got to challenge the fact that people are saying that Clemson is better than any team in the SEC.
Yeah, I hear you. All right, listen. Thanks for calling, man. I got a couple of
and then they go over there and beat LSU and Alabama.
Yeah. Well, there's no doubt they got a tough schedule, but it starts tomorrow. So anyway, thanks for calling in, man. I got a couple of other calls I got to get to.
All right, big dog. Have a good one.
All right, man. All right, so I see. I think I know who that is from the 803 number, but just hold on because this other guy's been holding on for a little bit longer. Good afternoon. You're on with Pete.
Hey, Pete.
Hello. What's up?
Hello. What's up with you?
I'm just living the dream, and I am amazing and fantastic. How are you doing, sir?
I'm good. Do you know who? Do you know who?
Do I know who this is?
Yes.
Well, I can see from the profile.
I was one of your.
It says Tyler.
I was one of your new. Yes, it is.
All right.
Crazy Bronco.
Oh, okay. Crazy Bronco. How you doing, man? I appreciate you calling in.
I'm good. You? I'm good. I just thought I would just call in.
So I'm gonna tell you this, Crazy Bronco. I was so impressed with the Broncos last week against the terrible Florida State Seminoles that I went and put personal money on Boise State to cover the spread tonight against who are you guys playing?
We're playing Marshall.
Marshall, yes, that was it. Yes, and so I put money on the Broncos to cover tonight. Yeah, I think it was 12 points.
Yeah, it's 12. It's a lot of my check. It was almost 13 from what I saw. But
I got it at 12.
I think they will beat Marshall by at least by 30.
By 30,
I think
that's a hell of a prediction there. Marshall's not a bad team actually, but I still think that And you know what the thing I was reading online was people saying that Boise State had to travel a long way, right, to Tallahassee last week, played in the heat, beat them. They had to travel back and play on a short week, and so that's some sort of a reason that Marshall is going to cover the spread. I don't care. I'm not saying Marshall's a bad team, but they're not on Boise State's level. If they lose that game, or if they lose the spread, I guess I should say, if I lose that bet, I'll be surprised.
I would too. I think it might be close, maybe the first quarter. But if our true freshman QB is in a groove, I'm sorry, but he will wipe you out.
Yeah, he looked really good. You know what really impressed me about Boise State last week was the running game.
What?
The running game for Boise State was really good.
Yeah, we have all 5 starters back. We in the what do you call the pro football decks where they rate the players or something.
Yeah,
I forget what it's called. We have the third best offensive line behind Oregon and who's the other?
Georgia, probably.
Yes, Georgia. Yeah, I think we were third or fourth best line, and we averaged 322 pounds up there.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah. Yeah, I was impressed with your guys last week,
which
man.
That's nice to have all. Yeah, I was impressed because we have all 5 stars, which that helps a true freshman, which he was in high school 7 months ago, and he comes in and he got hit a lot in the first half. I mean, the kid took some hits, which I was surprised, but second half he just got into a groove.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of people, they won't give Boise State credit for their win last week because they just want to put all the blame on Florida State for being so bad. And I understand that. Florida State did not look good, and they probably should beat Boise State. But you got to give credit to those guys for playing hard all the way till the end, and beating them.
Yeah, I mean, Florida State has some good players. I just think it's the coaching. I think if there was a different coaching staff in there, they'd be a way better team.
Well, yes. It's obvious
that's what I think.
It's obvious that coaching is the problem at Florida State at this point. That offensive line is got to be the worst offensive line in the country. It's not even close.
I mean, they did good in the first quarter. They scored 21 points. I mean, they were doing their thing, but the humidity got to them worse than us.
Yeah.
They were cramping by the third quarter.
Yeah,
and we just kept going.
Yeah, I gotta let you go in a second because I got some other calls coming in. But listen, if we know one thing, here's what we learned from last weekend. The Florida State Seminoles are very bad at hydrating, and the Boise State Broncos are a pretty good football team.
Yes, and I'll just one thing: Clemson will beat Texas A&M by 20 tomorrow.
I hope you're right, sir. Thank you.
There you go.
All right.
And I will talk to you next week.
Thank you. I appreciate it. All right, there you guys have it. I'm going to go ahead and pick up these in the order they're coming in. I see I got a Buckeyes fan on hold, so just until I get done with this call. Good afternoon. You're on with Pete.
What's up, Pete?
What's up, college football maniac? Here's the only South Carolina fan that has the balls and the gall to call in. The cojones to call in after that performance last week.
Right.
And so let me hear your raw thoughts on this, man. Let it, because I sit on here and trash and laugh, Muschamp and Bentley and everything else about the Gamecocks as much as I want, but nobody takes me seriously because I'm a Clemson Tiger fan. So why don't you give me your thoughts on this? Because that's what's more important. That's what's more important than what I think. Go ahead. The floor is yours, sir.
Well, right there at the end of the game, Bentley pretty much gave the ball away, 2 times, and then they messed up and kneeled down and gave us the ball again with 11 seconds, enough time to make a play, a good one. But right 2 minutes left, and even before that, Bentley underthrew Edwards, and there was no safeties in the backfield, and he was way ahead of his target. He threw it behind him, and that was a touchdown run right there. I know for a fact Edwards would have took his toothpick legs and hauled ass, you know what I'm saying? And then he overthrew Shi Smith right there at the last second. I mean, I don't know who he was throwing to. I think he was throwing to the goalpost or something because that thing was high up there. And then he overthrew another one. I can't remember who. I think it was Josh Vann. That was a potential down the field to the end zone. So, and from what I hear, Bentley didn't get hurt till the last play of the game. He sprained his midfoot sprained it or something. But
yeah,
I kind of put that one on Bentley, even though people are like, "Well, you can't blame. It's not only his fault." I'm like, well, he wasn't hurt whenever he overthrew it by a mile. But I mean, I hate what happened to him. I mean, that's really sad and everything. But whenever I was watching, I went back and watched the game again to see what we could improve on and what we were messing up a lot on. And you could just see in his face, like, he was beating himself up. I mean, like, his facial expressions read it all. I'm like, he's not in the zone. He looks baffled. He's not throwing like he did last year against Clemson. I mean, like, what happened? What happened to that?
Yeah.
What happened to that fire?
So let's get down to brass tacks. Do you think you've seen Jake Bentley play his last down as a Gamecock?
Most definitely. If Brian Kalinsky comes in and he's like falls to the walls and he's doing good, or but I don't know. He might come in because, I mean, you can play 4 games, right, still?
Yeah.
And then still redshirt?
Yeah.
So if he gets better by the end of the year, Muschamp down behind probably going to put him in again anyway.
No, I think he's done.
I think it's just because his dad's on the roster.
I'd be surprised to see him come back in.
Yeah.
This year anyway.
But
so
Captain Tripp was in there earlier, and I was just I didn't feel like repeating myself or texting him. So he asked if I was confident in Helinski, and he spelled Helinski wrong, just to let you know. But I couldn't answer that until I seen him play an actual game. I mean, I've seen him on 7 versus 7 and Elite 11 and all that. He has an arm. He's very accurate with it. It's just, what is he going to do when he sets up against elite defense or the next level instead of being in college or high school?
Yeah.
So I couldn't really answer that part.
But I think that the most South Carolina fans, it doesn't matter if you had a Helinski or me on the bench, they're ready to get rid of Bentley. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I am. I was ready. I was like, he doesn't play good in the first game. Bentley had plenty of chances like whenever he became a freshman, he's got potential to be one of the best SEC quarterbacks. And then they're still saying that to this day.
Yeah, he's a senior now. Yeah.
I mean, you can't be SEC quarterback potential 4 years in a row and still not make it yet.
Well, he's a turnover machine, and you know what the problem is? If I take my Clemson hat off here for a second, Jake Bentley is one of the most talented, arm-talented quarterbacks in the country. He's a turnover machine, and why is that? It's coaching.
He doesn't make good decisions.
It's coaching, though. These kids they're not Peyton Manning when they come into college. You come into college raw as a talent, and you get coached into making good decisions. If you're a senior and you're still making bad decisions, you've had bad coaching.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
But even if Helinski does do kind of bad, I still would rather have him get the experience for this year coming in for next year, you know?
Yeah.
Because I've seen him practice on videos, and he's got an arm. He can sling it down the field now. He can do it.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
He's pretty accurate.
I'm just not as optimistic as you are. I think Helinski's probably a really good talent, the same way that Bentley was. I think the problem at South Carolina is the coaching. It's just, I always have, and I'm not changing my opinion on it now. So, anyway.
But, yeah, you were talking to me about last time when I was on here about if Muschamp doesn't do good this year, if he should get booted.
Yes.
Well, yeah, if he does. If he can't make a bowl game, like, even if he does make a bowl game, barely scrubbing it, which I highly doubt it is going to happen. I'm hoping we can hit a bowl game, but if it doesn't happen, he needs to get the boot.
But then you're going to have people saying it's because we had the hard schedule. We got a hard schedule, so we can't make a bowl game.
Well, then he shouldn't have said this is the best team we've had here since I've been here. If he's saying that, he should be able to back it up, and it didn't look like it.
Yeah. Well, we agree on that, sir. You're making a lot of sense. You're making way too much sense for a Gamecock fan. That's why I like you.
Yeah. Well, UNC saw that opportunity because that right side of the ball, I mean, they were blitzing the crap out of it.
Yeah.
I mean, I was like, stop blitzing. Stop.
There's no excuse. UNC is not a good team. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, listen, I'm having major internet problems, it seems like. I have one more call before I get off, and then I'm going to go bang my head into a wall after that because my internet is really pissing me off right now. So, but thank you for calling in. You are amazing and fantastic. Even though you're a Gamecock fan, this is my favorite Gamecock fan by a long shot, and it's not even close.
Yes, sir.
All right, man.
All right, have a good one.
All right. I know who this guy is. Last caller. Good afternoon. You're on with Pete.
Good morning, Pete.
What's up?
Not much. Uncle Lou, good morning. We got a lot to talk about. How's Hurricane Dorian, man? Did you guys stay safe down there?
Yeah, downtown, I'm about 20 miles away from the downtown, so I'm good here. Downtown flooded like a sieve. I mean, it was, but it floods down there when it rains, on just a regular rainstorm, so that's no surprise. But yeah, all in all, we're good.
You're near Charleston, right?
Yeah, I'm about 15 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes away from the city.
Yeah, my sister and her husband live right there, right downtown, so.
Awesome.
They still are without power.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Your Tigers are looking good, Pete.
I know they are. Tell me something I don't know. Well, how about your Buckeyes, though?
Well, we're 16-point favorites against Cincinnati this week. Luke Fickell, he was our head coach the year that all the stuff went down and we were ineligible and all that. He's a head coach at Cincy, obviously, so I think they're going to have a little bit of a chip on their shoulder with this homecoming back to the shoe. But I think Ohio State should win this easily. But the fever in Ohio, man, is for the Browns opener. We haven't had this much excitement for a Cleveland Browns opener in my lifetime. I mean, to have OBJ out there with Baker Mayfield, it's going to be something special, Pete. I'm buzzing here, getting excited.
I agree. I have the Browns easily winning that division, and as a pretty good chance to make it at minimum the AFC Championship game, for sure.
That's awesome. It's not just it's real. The defensive line is probably the best defensive line in the NFL, and the defense is solid. The offense is just an all-star team. So I'm excited. But in college football, Pete, I'm gonna be honest, man. You guys are pretty much a lock in my book if you guys stay healthy.
Well, I hope you're right. I don't ever really make those predictions as a fan because I think it's kind of crazy to do that. And I don't want to jinx our team. So I think that we have definitely the most talented team in the country, but that doesn't mean you're going to win it all necessarily. So I'm still going to hold everything close to my vest.
If you guys stay healthy, I mean, Trevor Lawrence is the best quarterback that I've seen in a long time, and what you guys got going down is just special.
Yes, it is. Thank you. And I do have Ohio State winning that game by at least 16.5 because I bet on them on my Bet Now picks for yeah. So hey.
Well, I have your rule. Your rule's my rule, man. I can never bet on the gambling, so I have to stay away from that. But I hope my Buckeyes win you some money.
Yeah, that's a good rule, number one. But I will say this: Justin Fields played one game as a Buckeye, and he looked better in that one game than he did after 12 games as a Bulldog, or 13 games, or however many games they played last year.
Yeah, baby, we love it.
Yeah. Well.
Cool, man. Well, I love your show, man, and keep up the good work. And what you and Bobby are doing is just inspiring. So I'm cheering for you, Clemson, this year, man.
Thank you. I'm glad you're pulling for Clemson. We need all the help we can get, and I probably need all the internet help I can get too. If you could send a couple of gigabytes my way, this might be the worst, most choppy stream that I've ever been engaged in, and I'm surprised I'm last.
Yeah, well, get that fixed, man, and I'm excited what your Tigers are doing this year. It's going to be fun.
Thank you, and go Buckeyes! Beat those Bearcats because I need that money. So.
You got it.
All right, man.
We'll try to cover for you.
All right, have a good one.
We can do it. All right, later.
Later.
Bye. You too, Pete.
Well. I apologize to anybody for the quality of this video. I do. I don't know what else to say other than that. I don't know. I'm having internet problems. Ever since the hurricane, my internet's not been acting right, so I have to get it fixed. That's all I can tell you. Tomorrow, I'm not doing a stream because it's my son's birthday. I will be back with you guys next week for sure with the normal full schedule of normal YouTube videos, as well as the streams, the Friday night beer stream, and a primetime college football game next Saturday. So thanks for all for stopping in. Thanks to you all for who stuck around, even though this terrible internet connection is probably choppy and almost unwatchable. It's really debatable whether or not my streams are watchable in the first place, but they're definitely not watchable whenever the internet's not working well. Thanks now to betnow.eu. Click the link in the description if you want to play some college football wagers. Deposit some money. Enter the promo code Peete, P-E-E-T-E, all caps. They'll give you a 100% bonus on your deposit. Thank you to Volunteer Roadshow and Catfish. Go check out Howard's Rock if you're a Clemson fan or anybody else. And Fanpride.zone. Got good stuff going on over there. Thank you to all the callers. Thank you to Lou Patton for a $2 super chat. Thank you to Slim Shady Canes for a $2 super chat, who said Miami will beat North Carolina by 20 as well. I hope you are right, sir. I guess that's it. I'll see you guys soon. Thanks for stopping in. You're all amazing. You're all fantastic. Pigskin Pete is checking out.